Yeah, we're looking forward to another home game, and we know that each time we have to ramp it up and be ready for what's coming in to our building. But most importantly, I'd say to continue the the form that we're in, to ride the momentum, and 5 out of the last 6 we've won, but this is the past. We have to reset it and be ready for 100 minutes against a really good team coming into our building. You know, we know part one is to understand the opposition, and then two is to execute. So we're working on it.
Chris, it's the first time in a while that you've played against Red Bulls since you've been there. Just how are you approaching it any differently because of that, or is it just another game?
No, it's another game, but it's a really important game, and that's how I approach each game. The fact that it is New York Red Bulls, it's very important that we understand, as always, that each opponent poses different challenges, different opportunities for us. This is very specific. They're very clear in the way that they play, and again, I see that many teams play against them, and I think it's again probably because I've coached in that philosophy where it's very intensive and that it's important to understand it. And if assuming that it's not that difficult to understand, why don't more teams have success against it? Because you have to actually go out and execute against it, which is not easy against that philosophy.
Anything you're looking forward to? Anybody you're looking forward to see from the organization?
Yeah, look, there'll be some players there. Kyle Duncan, some guys that came through from very young ages. I'll miss John Tolkien. He's with the Olympics. Sean Nealis, their captain, who I was the head coach when we drafted him. Seeing them come into the league and develop and grow, and seeing what they're doing now. I mean, some of the finest young pros I've been around. So yeah, that'll be nice. And there's some staff members. Tony Jouot, the performance head of performance, a very dear friend of mine, and I'll see those guys. We're going to want to beat those guys, but that's how it goes.
Over the past week or so, have you noticed any change in how Cole is approaching every day, given the situation with the Olympics?
No. Cole Bassett he's one of the more impressive young guys slash professionals slash people that I've been around. His ability to commit to the games and training the way he does, give us all the extra chance to win games, scoring goals, but seeing him handle this, let's call it adversity. It's a little bit of a bump in the road, like it's a dream of his. He didn't get named to the team. I tell him, yet, ... It's like, will he have to be one of the overage players next time? But everything's possible for him. But he's so impressive the way he shows up. I mean, just look at the last game, right? He stepped in, let's call it out of position, goal, assist, part of the victory, played great, right back to work. He's big self-belief and so focused. So no change in behavior, just hungry as ever.
Just given, the fact he's 22 and he's showing this kind of maturity, just what does that add to the team?
Yeah, look, he's exactly the type of player and person we want around here. He is the benchmark. He is the prototype. He's the type of guy, character, young man that we need to recruit around here. He's the one you can put in front of the second team. You can put in front of our academy boys. It's hard to explain it sometimes. Just look at him. Look at the way he shows up every day. That's coaches. We can say it, but when we have an example like that, this helps us. But for Porig, for Fran, for our scouts, that's the type of player and person we want around here.
On Sunday, 4 different players scored a goal and 8 different players had an assist. What do you attribute that to, and does it make it harder for other teams that are coming up to scout you guys?
Yeah, look, I think it'd make it harder for us. That if it's like, how do you stop Messi? That's a big task. If you had that, or we've had that, and then he still scores in the day. But when there's multiple guys that can hurt you, maybe it makes it a little less predictable and harder to stop. We like that our offense creates a condition for guys to get into areas, clarity to get in, know the roles, to create chances, and that, be quite honest with you, we talk a lot about how to score. Like, it just doesn't happen. So, like, whether it's the extra pass, that upgrading the shot, so different guys are the benefactor in these moments. So it's hard. The philosophy gets us to those spots a lot of times, and then sometimes it's the individual brilliance from a Hoffa, a Georgie, that it's always hard to kind of deal with.
You talked about Cole playing out of position, you slot him into the 10. Just what kind of things does that unlock for you, especially in terms of the partnership that we saw between him and Kevin?
Yeah, I think that Cole higher up the field, it gets him closer to goal to finish attacks. That's one of the more obvious ones. He's pretty mobile out of that position. Georgie is a playmaker that is very dynamic when he gets the ball at his feet, can run by guys, links up with Hoffa well, and is in a spot where he makes guys, he's more of a playmaker, can get guys around him and going. When Cole's up there, he also is a playmaker, you can see, but he runs a lot more off the ball. Like on the first goal the other day, right? He's running in behind the defense, the extra pass to Kevin Cabral. I think we can be a different type of pressing team in moments because of his energetic ways and his commitment to that part of the game. So, yeah, it gives us a different look and a different type of playmaker in that part of the field.
And how interesting was it to see Cole, Connor, and Ollie on the field at the same time?
Listen, we talk a lot about different systems that can allow that. When I'm never that comfortable when if Connor's not in, we lose a deep lying playmaker, a guy that can wiggle out of spots, break lines, see the pitch, like so good on the ball and clever to make space for himself. But then if Oliver is not on the field, it's again he missed out on a few leading up to this last game, but you lose that intangible in a guy, the second balls, the energy, things that don't show up in the statistics. Those columns very often. How do you track desire, will to win, ability to pick up a second ball, put out a fire in transition? So I like the fact that I like sixes. More of them on the field, the better. If Cole's a 6, so there's also Jasper that's right there too. I loved seeing him come on the other day and what he meant. He creates the yappy goal, heads the ball and back into the pitch and helps start a counterattack. So he's knocking on the door too. So yeah, it's nice when you get a few more of those guys out there.
Excited to.
3 young players just had milestone performances in the past week. Ollie, Mikey, and Darren. Have you seen maybe a spark of confidence from them just in the past couple days of training, getting back into the swing of things?
Yeah, look, we believe in the young players around here. We don't just say it. We give them the minutes. It was Seb Anderson earlier in the year, Jackson Travis, and I think this is an example that you get the right young. I oftentimes say it's not just young players. It has to be the right young players. There's plenty of lazy, arrogant, selfish young players that I've come across in my as a player and a coach. We have I think the right young players, which then I don't think they let you down. They actually show that they're willing to run, they commit to the team, they buy into the tactics and their role in the whole thing. So to see Oliver, can you imagine off the bench scores a set piece header? Like, of course he did. Like, it's not, no one's that surprised, although it's his first goal, but on a set piece. You see Mikey, the way he operates around here in training and never makes excuses, goes and plays with the second team. He does his best, takes the critiques when he gets back from there, gives an awful lot without a lot of return, and then bang, gets a start. And I know he was nervous before it, which it had to be. Like, I was always nervous for a game, but I wasn't scared. But you step in and you do the job, and he looked like a pro out there. Aggressive, getting the fans going. Not surprised, but I'm thrilled for him. And then Yappy, his first goal, which in this last bit of time, maybe the last few weeks, it's been forget about the goals. Forget about scoring. Just commit physically and to what the game needs. Run, chase, come back into the game. Just commit physically and imagine, don't worry about scoring to a striker, and then bang, he gets a really good goal. So, the young players that are getting opportunity, they give us confidence to keep rewarding them, and it's part of who we are as a team and a club. So, it's great to see that reward coming our way.
Omir talked earlier in the week, and he said that he's about to head into his second year at Wake Forest when he got a call from you about getting his first contract with the Red Bulls. What have you seen from him from then at that point to now, since you've seen him early on and now at this point of his career?
Yeah, look, he's like you'd imagine, with just organically, and then from coaching and just how life goes, he's all the things that he was good at, he's just better at now. Like he's developed into he's a young man now, not a little kid coming through. Really just knows who he is, and I think has worked hard to get better at that. In New York, with young players, imagine he's young at that point and his heart's on football, not school at that very moment. And but then you're with the big boys, so now roles on set pieces. Huh? What do I gotta do? Like, it wasn't easy. The demands professionally, cognitively, to meet the demands in high level games and derby matches. It's not easy for young players. But then, to see his development along the way, when you check in with the guys in New York, he's the guy that comes early, he stays late, he's in the weight room. We don't have to hide him anymore in set pieces. Hey, listen, we got to put him here. No, he really is a reliable guy this way. He tries really hard to carry his weight this way, and that's just his credit, growth. So, no, I see a guy that's developing, and I think there's still, for me, a lot more for him. He's still mid-20s like this. I finished at 35. I was still learning, and working on the craft.